All right, so welcome back. We got some news involving Tszyu for the Australian Boxing Podcast. Right now, it is August the 16th, 2024, 9:39 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As news has come out in the last few days that Tszyu is going to be taking on IBF champion Bakram Murtazaliev on October the 19th here in the States in Florida, on Amazon Prime, but not pay-per-view. So for those who don't know, tomorrow, August the 17th, Caleb Plant was supposed to be taking on Trevor McCumbee. I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. And Stephen Fulton was also supposed to be featured on that card. It was going to be regular Amazon down in Florida as well. So the way it's looking to me is that Tszyu is taking the venue and the regular Amazon Prime broadcast from, Caleb. I'm not taking it from him. That fight's been moved to the Canelo Berlanga undercard. And it looks like if Tszyu beats Murtazaliev, which I'm predicting that he will, Tszyu is going to fight Erickson Lubin. They're hoping for December. And then the winner of Fundora, Errol Spence, that's supposed to happen sometime in early 2025. And also, it looks like Tszyu's team and Turkey Al-Sheikh are having some issues because Al-Sheikh of the Saudis, Riyadh season, wants Tszyu to fight Terence Crawford in February, which makes no sense because Tszyu would just have to wait and be out even longer. So it looks like Tszyu is re-upping on the deal with PBC, and it's looking like a 3-fight deal with 2 of them being on pay-per-view. And right now, I think it's a good deal because as me and Big J, who's on the line, talked about the Virgil Ortiz fight, even though it'd be a good fight for fans, it really didn't make sense. So for those who don't know, it was supposed to happen August the 3rd, on the undercard of, or as the co-feature of Terence Crawford versus Israel Madrimov. So I'm going to bring Big J in. First, I'm going to go ahead and say, as I said earlier, I have Tszyu beating Bakram Murtazaliev. Not a very, how can I say, he hasn't really been seen much fighting on dark matches for years, and he was mandatory for years until he finally got a shot and won. But I won't be surprised if Tszyu knocks him out. Your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, well, I'm very glad that the fight is happening, considering the fact that, the unfortunate mess that was the Fundora fight, through no fault of anyone's. Well, I bet you Tszyu's team were wishing that they did everything to protect their belt. But anyway, he's got the title fight, which was his choice. I mean, I don't know if you're aware, but No Limit had a press conference about, I think, a month ago, where they said that Tim was going to be coming back in Australia on the 22nd of
I remember.
September. Against potentially Erickson Lubin. Something happened. I mean, why announce a fight with no venue and no opponent confirmed? That's just bloody stupid in my book, but that's all right. He's got the fight against Bakram Murtazaliev, which should have been, even if Tim beat Fundora, Bakram Murtazaliev would have been the next logical step, and then Crawford for undisputed. So it was going to happen anyway. I think while it would be a tough fight, I think Tim will deal with him probably in the later rounds, probably 10th round knockout, and then he'll move on to, as I said, Lubin, and then the rematch with Fundora, depending on what belts he's going to have by that time. The only thing I can't get over this fight is, why is a Russian that lives in the States fighting an Australian of Russian descent in Florida, of all places? I mean, doesn't Bakram Murtazaliev live in either, is it Vegas or Los Angeles? Which one does he live in?
I am not sure, but let me see if it's listed on BoxRec. Oxnard, California.
All right, so he lives in California. So why the fuck they fly in and fly? Because Bakram Murtazaliev is not a huge name.
Yeah.
I mean, very, very low down the totem pole. They would have been smarter if PBC brought it to Australia.
Well, it looks like
a bigger fight.
It looks like to me, because it's a PBC event and they had to fill, they probably have an obligation to that arena, because originally, as I said, it was supposed to be Caleb Plant's main event in that arena. That's what it looks like to me, is that they owe Amazon an event before the year's out, meaning a regular Amazon Prime event. And they owe that venue an event because the site fee, and Bakram Murtazaliev comes cheap.
Yeah, well, exactly.
You know, that's what it looks like to me.
And Tim's one of those fighters where he'll fight anyone, anytime, any place, anywhere. He doesn't care. He just wants to fight. So, and as I said, he's been trying to take over the States for a number of years now. I don't know why, because the States is not the big place it used to be, but he wants to go there. Fair enough. Anyway, there's nothing wrong with the fight. The only place is the venue's a bit. Why go there? But if they've got contractual obligations, it makes perfect sense. So it just depends on what they do with the undercard. Because to PBC's credit, the Fundora Tim card was rather good.
Yeah, but that was a pay-per-view though. That was the pay-per-view though, and it's a
Yeah, this is just a club fight.
Yeah, so, pretty much, and it's well known that PBC's been having some money issues. So I have concerns about the undercard. Like the fight is about Tszyu and the championship fight. I don't think that the undercard is going to be very good. I'm not saying it won't be exciting fights, but you know, it all depends. And I'm interested to see if maybe No Limit will get some of their fighters on the card as well, because I think it's safe to assume that it's going to be pay-per-view for you guys over there.
Oh, it definitely will be, yeah. And No Limit's got their Nikita card coming up week after next, so not next Wednesday, a week after. Like Nikita's taking on Murtazaliev, Mixer is fighting Tommy Brown, Jasmine Parr's fighting Amber Amelia, Conor Wallace is fighting, I can't remember the other bloke's name, Jerome Popolini, I think his name is. Apologise if I fucked that up, I probably have. So all those fighters will be probably not right. But when's the date again?
What?
Tszyu versus Bakram. 19th, 20th of October?
Yeah, October 19th.
Yeah, okay, they might. Some of those fighters might be able to turn around in that time, but I doubt it.
If they were to turn around, it would be like super showcase fights, nothing that they can get too hurt and or have to have a big training camp for. So yeah, I'm doubtful that those fighters will be able to turn it around. But it's looking like the reason why I think Lubin is lined up as next, because it's looking like Lubin may be the next IBF mandatory. I think that may be, the logic there to get that IBF mandatory out of the way.
Didn't he hurt his hand or something? That's why he didn't fight Tszyu or some shit?
That's what it's looking like. But, at the end of the day, I believe, and we talked about it before, that he was probably trying to get that Murtazaliev fight.
Yeah, I agree. Just because someone says they're injured doesn't mean they're actually injured. They're just looking to try and... Yeah, so we've all seen that happen before.
Looking at the division, we're waiting to see. Now, the WBO months ago put out a statement that if Sebastian Fundora doesn't enter into immediate negotiations with Terrence Crawford, that he would be stripped, and Terrence Crawford would be the WBO champion, which would make Terrence Crawford the WBA and the WBO champion. So we haven't heard anything yet. But Fundora wasn't cleared to fight until November or so, or at least according to his team. And it's looking like they're really going to try to shoehorn and force that fight with him and Errol Spence possibly in Dallas. So right now, and then also you have Virgil Ortiz. So what do you think about Tszyu, pretty much turning down the Saudis to not fight Terrence Crawford in February?
I didn't know that was on the cards to fight Terrence Crawford in February, but I'm sure he's got his reasons. But
yeah, he would. Well, for one, he would have to wait till February when the title shot is right there.
Exactly. Get a belt. Well, Tim could fight Murtazaliev and fight Crawford in February. No bloody problem. That's an easy turnaround.
So here's what I'm gathering. Well, here's what was from Dan Rayfield's Fight Freaks Unites. I'm gonna read this. Saudi Arabia's Turki Al-Sheikh had hoped Tszyu would bypass the Murtazaliev fight and agree to fight Crawford in February, but Tszyu did not want to be inactive and opted for the title fight. A source with knowledge of what happened told Fight Freaks Unite that the decision seems to be the reason why Al-Sheikh recently said to Fight Hub TV, I will not work with Tszyu. Let him do it his way. He doesn't understand. Now, I'm on Tszyu's side because it's like, why not pick up that belt? But also, I do believe that in order for Tszyu to get that Murtazaliev fight, that he had to enter into an agreement with PBC. I just don't think that PBC would just let him have that one off. And remember, they've been holding on to Murtazaliev and that mandatory for years. So that belt is very political, and I believe that PBC may have signed Tim Tszyu up for 3 years, which is why the Saudis are kind of pissed off for 3 fights, which is why the Saudis are kind of pissed off because we may not see Crawford, or Crawford versus Tim Tszyu, or whoever, or Tim Tszyu versus any of the Saudi fighters on that roster no time soon. Maybe not until mid to late next year with the way things are looking. Because think about it. I don't see it being Lubin. Okay, let's say, for example, if Tim Tszyu beats Murtazaliev, and even if he makes it an easy night, it's hard for me to see him fighting Lubin in a quick turnaround in December. Doesn't make sense to me. I believe we will see that fight in about February or so. And then if he were to fight the winner of Fundora versus Spence, I wouldn't be surprised if we wouldn't see that until the summer or so next year. So Tim Tszyu is already booked up for at least a year and a half.
Exactly. But money talks, as we know, and Tim could beat Murtazaliev and still fight Crawford in February, and the Turk might just go, oh, fuck it, I'll give PBC some stand out of my way money and everyone will be happy. It's not like he's short of a quid.
That's highly possible as well. So how do you see this fight going? Do you see Tim Tszyu sweeping, meaning beating Murtazaliev, Lubin, and the winner either or Spence or Fundora? I think
he'll beat a lot of them. He will. I think Murtazaliev 9-10 round knockout or stoppage. He'll beat the absolute piss out of Erickson Lubin, because don't forget Fundora smashed his face in. Yeah. Charlo knocked him out in 1 round, so I don't really see him as a threat. If
then he got a gift over Jesus Ramos, a lot of people feel.
Yeah. I don't see if he has a rematch with Fundora, he'll just, as long as he doesn't get a freakish cut again, he'll beat the piss out of him. So, I think, as I said, the only real threat to Tim Tszyu at the moment is Crawford. And the older Crawford gets, the more it's in Tim Tszyu's favour. Because I honestly think that if Tim Tszyu fought Crawford instead of Madrimov, Tim possibly could have got him, because Crawford was the first time that he fought at that weight. He was older and he wasn't used to the weight. His next fight, he's going to be better. That was the opportunity to get Crawford, was there and then. And look how well Madrimov did. A guy that's only had 10 fights to his name, and he took Crawford to the distance for the first time in 11-something fights?
Yeah.
So, and he's still only a novice. Tim Tszyu's got almost 3 times the amount of experience at that weight. So imagine what Tim would have done to Crawford.
Interesting. So to wrap up this video, let's talk about Virgil Ortiz. What did you think about his fight? And how would he feel against
fucking shit. Fucking Tim Tszyu would kick the living shit out of Virgil Ortiz. Beat the piss out of him. Because, Boachuk won that fight, in my opinion. I had it. The cards were correct. It was a draw, 1 card. What was it? 114, 112. So 6 rounds apiece. But old mate got the knockdowns. I had it 114, 112 to Boachuk. I had it the exact other way. I think that Virgil Ortiz. But either way, both him and Crawford looked vulnerable. Crawford because he was new at the weight, and Virgil Ortiz, technically new at the weight as well. Exactly. And both of them going to improve on their next fight at that weight. There's no ifs, buts, and maybes about that.
And both went the distance, and for Virgil Ortiz, that was the first time in his career.
Exactly. And Boachuk is a very, very skilled fighter, but he's not on the level of Tim Tszyu. I think Tim Tszyu would, kick the living piss out of Virgil Ortiz. I wish he fought him on August 3, because Tim would have destroyed him, and that would have been the end of his bloody hype train. Because I still think Virgil Ortiz is nothing but a bloody hype train.
From what I've seen, Tim Tszyu would beat Boachuk. Boachuk, excuse me, that's how he wants his name pronounced. Tim Tszyu would beat Virgil Ortiz. Crawford would give him a test, but Crawford still knew at the weight.
Yeah, but Crawford's going to be better next fight. The only thing that's working in Tim's favour is that Crawford is older now. 5-6 years ago, Crawford kicked the living piss out of Tim Tszyu. Yeah. But now that he's older, he's at the new weight. If Crawford has another fight in between the time that he fights Tim, which is very, very possible, I would still lean towards Crawford. Because Crawford, he's going to get better as he settles into the weight.
Yeah.
And Virgil T is going to be the same. As he settles into the weight, he's just going to get better.
Yeah.
Because even though I don't rate him, he still put on a pretty bloody good performance. Even though he got knocked down twice, he bounced straight back up that second knockdown and started beating the piss out of Barchuk.
Yeah.
But Tim won't give him a chance to get back up. Tim will hit a lot harder, and he'll go down and he'll go to sleep. So.
Well, we're going to see how this works out, because now that Murtazaliev fight is literally just 2 months away tomorrow, so I guess we can expect for them to start doing some build-up. And also, as it stands right now, Tszyu is in Vegas right now. I'm looking at his Instagram, and he's training over at the UFC Performance Center. But another thing is Turkey Al-Sheikh is floating around the state somewhere. You know, because he's sponsoring that UFC event next month in the Spears. So I'm wondering if some type of secret meeting took place. But, you know, only time will tell. Closing thoughts?
Well, I mean, the Turk, I know the Turk wants what the Turk wants, but... Yeah,
wait, one more question before you continue. Do you feel he's been getting a little bit arrogant?
Turk, of course he's fucking arrogant. He's got more money than bloody...
Yeah.
That's what I don't like about these rich pricks. They think because they got the money, they can do whatever they want. Hey, Turk, if you've got a spare million, give me some money, mate. I'm broke. I've got kids to feed. So I've got a mate of mine who wants to have a fight. He's a gutless one to chump. I'll kick the shit out of him. Give us $1 million apiece. We'll get on your guard. No problem. So, you know, if you want to throw money away, give it to me. I'm broke.
Yeah.
But I don't like how these rich fellas think that they can just throw money around and get whatever the hell they want. I mean, it doesn't work like that. I mean, people's, you know, Canelo told him bugger off.
Yeah.
Who else is on his shit list? Tim. I mean, someone made a meme about it the other day. It was pretty funny. Who else is on Turkey's shit list?
Tim didn't really shoot him down, too. You know, he just said he would love to work with him. He didn't understand. From what I'm gathering from it, Tim was like, you know, like, hey, I wasn't going to sit around and wait. I don't understand what the hostility is coming from Turkey Al-Sheikh. That's what I'm getting from him. He don't understand it.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to remember, we don't know what the full story is, so I wouldn't necessarily worry about it. I mean, the positive for Turkey Al-Sheikh, I will say this: the positives outweigh the negative. 50 to 1. There's no real negative in what he's doing. He's bringing on good fights. Okay,
and also let's not forget, it's looking like to me that he's trying to buy boxing. There's a lot going on right now, and with PBC fighters fighting on Saudi cards, don't be surprised if Tszyu, these fights end up being on Saudi cards.
I will say this, right? If boxing goes back to the way it was, or it has the UFC model today, which is pretty much what boxing was 60 years ago before all these sanctioning bodies turned up out of nowhere, and we've got 15 different fucking belts and 15 guys running around saying they're world champion and all that bullshit. We go back to the days of one guy, one belt, one sanctioning body. It'll probably be better because it works for the UFC. They don't fuck around.
Yeah, you either fight or you don't get no fight. On to the next one.
Exactly. You fight or you fuck off.
And you know who's the best in each division, not just a champion for 4 different sanctioning bodies saying that they're the best, like you said earlier.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm the best by the WBC. I'm the best by the IBF. I'm the best, and I'm looking forward to it. But one thing we can say is, at least, they have the heavyweight division. They're trying to get the 154-pound division, as we can see, and they pretty much are on their way to having the cruiserweight division as well. So I'm all for what they're trying to do, as long as they are giving us good fights. I don't give a fuck what these fighters make, for real. That's not my business. Getting good fights. That's all I care about.
I'm surprised he hasn't gone after the middleweight division, because the middleweight division is ripe for the plugging. Middleweight divition's fucked.
I won't be surprised. I will not be surprised if they start going after him. But all right, with that being said, stay tuned, because we got a full episode of the Australian Boxing Podcast coming up. I guess you can consider this the season premiere. Take your time, like the video, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at TstreeT Controversy, and Big J at Old Mate Big J. The link is down below in the description box. And be sure to like the video, subscribe. Thanks for watching.